Good morning, everyone. As we stand here at the very threshold of summer, with the days stretching longer, the sun growing warmer, and that sense of renewal in the air, it is a pleasure to welcome you all. Summer is often a season of high energy, of heat, and of movement, but ironically, it is the perfect time to talk about its opposite. We live in a world that is loud. We live in a world that rewards the hustle, the grind, and the person who reacts the fastest. We are taught that to be powerful, we must be assertive, loud, and constantly in motion. But if you look closely at the most successful leaders, the most resilient athletes, and the most content human beings, you will find a common denominator that has nothing to do with noise. That denominator is calm. Today, we're going to explore why calm always wins. We aren't talking about being passive or being a doormat. We are talking about calculated composure. We are talking about the ability to remain a cool 60 degrees when the world around you is hitting a boiling point. Over the next 50 minutes, we will break down the biology of the brain, the strategy of the boardroom, and the philosophy of the soul to understand why the person who stays calm is the person who ultimately holds the cards. Time, 5 to 15 minutes. Part 1, the biology of the cool head. To understand why calm wins, we first have to understand why we lose our calm. Deep inside your brain sits a small, almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. This is your body's alarm system. Millions of years ago, it saved us from saber-toothed tigers. Today, it reacts the same way to a passive-aggressive email, a traffic jam, or a challenging comment from a colleague. When the amygdala takes over, it triggers the amygdala hijack. Your heart rate rises, your vision narrows, and your rational brain, the prefrontal cortex, essentially goes offline. When you're in a state of high stress or anger, your IQ effectively drops. You cannot think creatively. You cannot see the big picture. You are in survival mode. Now, consider the person who has trained themselves to stay calm. While everyone else is in a biological shutdown, the calm person retains full access to their cognitive abilities. The advantage of clarity. When you are calm, you see the gaps. You see the exit signs that others miss because they are blinded by panic. The energy economy. Stress is exhausting. High cortisol living burns through your glucose and your mental energy. The calm person is efficient. They win because they have the stamina to outlast the person who burned all their fuel in the first 5 minutes of the crisis. Time, 15 to 25 minutes. Part 2, the strategy of reacting versus responding. There is a massive difference between reacting and responding. A reaction is a reflex. It's a ping-pong match. Someone shouts at you, you shout back. Someone makes a mistake, you immediately blame them. Reactions are predictable, and if you are predictable, you can be manipulated. A response, however, is a choice. Think about a high-stakes game of poker. If a player gets a bad hand and their face flushes, their hands shake and they complain about their luck, they've already lost. They are reacting. The winner is the one with the poker face, not because they're emotionless, but because they have placed a buffer between the event and their action. In any negotiation, whether you're buying a house or asking for a raise, the person who is more comfortable with silence and less desperate to fill the air with nervous energy wins. Why? Because calm signals leverage. It signals that you are not desperate. It signals that you are in control of yourself, which suggests that you are in control of the situation. Time, 25 to 35 minutes. Part 3, the social power of calm, emotional contagion. Humans are social animals. We have what scientists call mirror neurons. We subconsciously mimic the emotional states of the people around us. Have you ever noticed how when one person starts panicking in a room, the tension rises for everyone? But have you also noticed how when in a crisis, everyone looks to the person who is sitting still and speaking softly? Calm is a superpower in leadership because it is contagious. If you're a parent and your child is having a meltdown, joining them in that meltdown only doubles the chaos. If you remain a sturdy pilot, the child eventually matches your frequency. In a corporate setting, a leader who remains calm during a market crash or a failed project prevents a brain drain. They allow their team to feel safe enough to innovate a way out of the problem. Calm wins because it attracts followers. People don't follow the loudest person, they follow the person who seems to know where the exits are. Time, 35 to 45 minutes. Part 4, building the muscle of composure. So, how do we do it? How do we stay calm when it feels like the world is on fire? First, we must realize that calm is not a personality trait. It is a skill. It is a muscle that you build through pressure testing. The 90-second rule. Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor, a neuroanatomist, explains that when an emotion is triggered, the chemical flush lasts only 90 seconds. If you can breathe through 90 seconds without speaking or acting, the physiological urge to explode will pass. Zooming out. Most things that feel like a level 10 emergency today will be a level 1 memory in a year. Calm people have the habit of zooming out, asking themselves, will this matter in 5 years? The power of silence. Practice the comfortable silence. In your conversations this summer, try waiting 2 seconds longer than usual before responding. You will be amazed at how much more information people give you and how much more authority you seem to command. Time, 45 to 50 minutes. Conclusion, your summer of stillness. As we conclude, let's look back at our summer theme. Summer is beautiful, but it can also be overwhelming. The heat, the travel, the social obligations. My challenge to you as you walk out of here today is to reframe your view of strength. The next time you feel the heat rising, whether it's an argument with a loved one or a setback at work, remember that the person who loses their temper loses the argument. The person who loses their cool loses their edge. Calm always wins, because calm is the ultimate form of self-mastery. You cannot control the wind, you cannot control the tide, and you certainly cannot control other people. The only thing you have total dominion over is the space between a stimulus and your response. In that space lies your freedom. In that space lies your power. Go into this summer with a warm heart but a cool head. Watch how the world moves around you when you choose to stand still. Watch how people lean on you, how problems seem smaller, and how opportunities become clearer. Enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the growth of the season, and most importantly, stay calm. Thank you.